And I'm back.
Perfect. We're getting it. We're getting it. What up? Welcome back
What up?
to the We the Tribesmen podcast, where disappointment is guaranteed.
Yeah, man.
Right?
So last week we talked a little bit about camp out that we got coming up with our daughters. It's sponsored by Men's Alliance. Go figure. And it's called Warrior Princess. But since we got that coming up, we've been talking about like what we're gonna bring and our packing list and all that stuff. So we figure we would talk about it on here and give you guys our likes, our dislikes, our recommendations and reviews on all things when it comes to camping.
Camping.
Yeah.
Who are you bringing to Warrior Princess?
My little girl.
How old is she?
So she's 10 now. Last year was her first year that she went to Warrior Princess. And one of the little cool things that they do is they gave each other the nicknames, right? So
Yeah.
I think hers was Clucks because she likes chickens.
Nice.
You?
I'm bringing a daughter. Her name is, well, she's 8. Yep. She's 8. This will be her second time at Warrior Princess. Molly. And it was blast. Her Warrior Princess name is Songbird.
How'd she get that?
She likes to sing.
Wonder where she gets that from.
Like her old dad. I've been known to be called the songbird of my generation.
Yeah, dude.
Original.
Yeah.
I've
Focus.
heard that.
What about
Yeah.
you?
Who you bringing?
You're coming out, right?
Yep. I'll be there. I'm bringing my daughter, Valkyrie, and she does not have a name yet. So,
Holy
Your
cow.
daughter's real name is Valkyrie?
I thought that was like a call sign.
no, man, that's
Dude, that is
her
that's
real
tough.
name. Yeah.
tough. I learned that one from him.
What?
From Focus. Tough.
Tough? You
I
never
got
used
you.
tough before?
No, that's
As like a
that's
thing?
like one of these like new Gen Z.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
Tough. That's tough.
Tough. No cap. No
No
cap.
cap. Okay.
No cap here.
Now I can understand that.
Yeah, now you're inching into Gen Z.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial, man. I was on the cusp. So, yeah, I'm
On the cusp.
94. Yeah.
Cusp. That's a good word.
He's on the spectrum.
Yeah, some spectrum.
That one. So
man.
back
It's
at
such
it.
a millennial thing to say when somebody says, I don't identify as a millennial.
Why is it that like he had to jump? No. I'm a millennial, and I mean I do the same thing because I guess the cusp
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what was before Gen X.
Right.
So like I fall right there. So I'm like, no, I'm a Gen Xer.
Because every
I'm saying,
generation
depending on what you
is the worst.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
every
depending on
generation
what
is
you
not
Google,
yours.
depending on the Google source, it tells me if I'm millennial or not. Some
Yeah.
of them I am, some of them I'm not.
Part of the last hard generation.
Right. So, because my wife is the same, and she's like, oh, I don't identify as a millennial. I'm like, well, that's what a millennial would say, that they don't identify as something.
You youngsters and
You know.
the internet ruined everything.
Yep. But anyways, we digress. Does that fit?
Yeah.
Digress. That's a good word. So
It's all
this
about
is
words.
this is the podcast of words.
All about
We're going to be
words.
trying
This
to
podcast.
go through this is back at it again, and
Here
I
we
can't
go.
talk. Thesaurus. The thesaurus. Yeah, so we're going to talk
man.
about tents.
Right.
We're going to get into tents before we.
Do you take camp, Master Control?
I have camped one time when I was probably 6. Never went back. So
You've camped once when you were 6.
Yeah,
What was that?
Cub
It must
Scouts.
have been a bad Cub Scouts.
Yep.
This is a
So
bad
that wasn't for
experience.
me. I was a gamer kid. I didn't.
With like your dad or something?
Yeah. My dad, my brother, and Yeah, it was. I was like a real shy kid, so I didn't like. Just Cub Scouts was not for me, so I just never went back. And
So
yeah,
you haven't been camping since you were 6 years old.
nope.
That's awesome.
Yep,
So
I'm fresh.
This is going to be great.
Oh yeah,
I'm so glad.
that's why I have you guys.
You know what?
to walk
I
me
bet
through
if
This is going to be.
I bet if
awesome
he went
weekend.
to a trail life camp out, it would have been different, and we would be talking to like Wilderness Tom over there. But
Yep.
yeah,
Did you camp much as a kid?
man, yes, yeah, all the time. Just grew up camping a lot. I remember middle schoolish, like every summer. We were down in Florida, so we went to some state parks and like did some prep work. But then during the summer when I was out, my dad he took us up to Georgia, and we started the Appalachian Trail when I was real young. And like every summer we would go do more pieces.
Oh, really?
Up in Georgia. So
I've done parts of the Appalachian Trail. You done any out here?
in Virginia,
Yeah. Or West Virginia.
well, I did a lot of walking in West Virginia, but not Appalachian Trail.
Is that for a different podcast?
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
That story?
yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to get into that
That's
sometime.
another time. We're gonna focus on the camping stuff. But yeah, I grew up camping all the time. Did a lot of backpacking, hiking. So like the minimalist stuff.
Yeah.
And then transition into professional camping in the military.
Right.
That is fun. What about you?
Yep. Grew up camping. Started in I don't think we ever tent camped. I come from a big family, so we had to do the cheapest kind of vacation, which is, well, it used to be camping. Camping nowadays, you can spend a pretty penny on camping, but
Well, yeah, the way you do it.
Yeah.
we're gonna get into
but
that.
at least going somewhere and staying is most places. Well, back then it was pretty cheap. Campsites, but just campsites these days are expensive,
Yeah.
depending on if you want to go to one that isn't filthy. But yeah, started in a pop-up, then we moved to like a little bit bigger camper, and then ended up with like an RV trailer, a few different ones of those. And so then when I was had my own family, bought a camper RV trailer. Don't have one anymore, but we've done tent camping. But those are some of my best memories of my childhood was camping.
Yeah.
So, but
Whereabouts? Like where were those
mostly
trips
in
to?
Michigan. Well, grew up in Michigan, so Michigan, and then we would go see grandparents and stuff, and maybe like camp along the way.
Focus.
Stuff like
Where
that.
was your terror camp at? Like where was that nightmare that prevented you from ever camping again?
Dude, I don't even. I have no idea. I think it was just like around here somewhere. Just probably some. I don't even know where you could camp around here, but it was probably somewhere
Camp all
close
kinds
by.
of places.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Was it Pocahontas State Park?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Pocahontas State Park. I hear that's a great place to go camping, especially
It
like
is really
around the
pretty.
beginning of May 2nd to 4th. I think
Yeah.
we'll be there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. But yeah, back to what we're talking about. So we're gonna go to this 3-day camp out here in Virginia with our daughters. It's a event put on just for fathers and daughters. We did this last year, and
So the first one,
yeah.
the Warrior Princess.
Do you remember like the build up to that? We were like, oh man, how are our daughters gonna act?
Yeah,
And,
or if anybody's gonna show or what. We thought we had
Yeah.
to cap it at a certain amount, and
it turned out to be,
we could fit way more in there.
oh yeah, I think we had 75 dads with their daughters, so we had a little over 150 families there, and it rained almost the whole
Yep,
weekend.
I got soaked.
That's why we're going to talk about tents. He's going to review that tent that got him soaked.
Yeah, don't have it anymore.
But man, what an awesome experience. Like we were kind of worried about, man, this weekend is going to be wet. Like, will our girls be complaining?
Yeah.
And it was the complete opposite. I think like Friday night, they were just running around with flashlights, playing Gaga Ball till midnight almost.
Yep.
Man, just an amazing experience that I'm sure looking forward to in the next couple weeks coming up.
Yeah. Did you say if they want to sign up for that?
I didn't, but you can let them know.
Yeah. Well, Warrior Princess, if you want to find out more about that, go to men'salliancetribe.com and you can sign up. There are a few spots left.
Very limited spots because, like I said, this was such an amazing event that when Men's Alliance did put it up, tickets went fast. So there's not too many left. But if you're late to get signed up, you can be looking for next year because, like I said, absolutely amazing. This is going to be one of those things that I'm like, my daughter's 10, yours is 8. We're going to be there until they're 17, 18.
Yeah, good tradition.
So on that, like, you guys, enough about that camp out. Let's get into this tent that leaked on you.
Oh yeah. Well, I wanted a tent. I'm all about convenience, so I wanted an ease of a setup because I figure if something isn't easy and convenient to use, you won't use it. That's with anything. Even if it's not comfortable, you won't wear it. If it's hard to put on, whatever, you won't wear it. If it's just, like I said, if it's not convenient, you won't use it as much.
Are you going to tell us what the tent was?
I was like, I want a tent that doesn't have to have tent poles or anything like that. I want to be able to set it up and not be sweating and frustrated by the time I have it put together. So I got a ice fishing tent because
an ice fishing tent.
Yeah, because they're called like hub tents, and somebody was selling it on like Facebook yard sales. And I looked it up, and it was like a $400-some tent on Amazon for like $100. So I was like, yeah, I'll use it, but it didn't have a floor in it. It was missing a floor.
So no footprint.
Right.
I think that's
no even floor in the tent. The footprint is like the tarp you put underneath the tent. This didn't have a floor in it. So you set it up, it was just grass.
Okay. Hey, guys, in the comments, tell us who's right. Is the footprint like in the tent, or is it something you can add to the tent?
Yeah, your footprint is the shape of your tent floor that's just a little bit bigger that you would put underneath your existing tent.
Okay. AKA a tarp.
Right. Well, a tarp, but a footprint is the actual same shape of whatever.
All right. So back to the tent. What's it called, man? You still haven't told us what it's called.
I don't know what it was called.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't come with a rain fly or anything, and it's an insulated wall. So it rained that weekend, and so it just absorbed all the water, and it was just dripping through the tent like mad, and it wouldn't dry out.
So we're starting off hot with these reviews. We're telling you about a tent that we don't know what it is, but we know it's terrible.
That one. Yeah, it was just some China bomb.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah. So that, and I'd been looking because, I thought, okay, I'll be savvy and cheap and get the used one. And because there was this other one I was looking at that I wanted, but it was super expensive. But that's how gear is. The cheap stuff isn't good, and good stuff ain't cheap. Okay, that's what you got to live by when it comes to gear. All right.
So what are you in now? Then
I bought a shift pod. Then I bought a shift pod, which is like the best tent you can get. They're crazy expensive, and that cooked me out because they were like silver.
Is that the one that looks like a spaceship?
Yeah.
So last year, that's what you had at.
That's what I had. No, I didn't
carry the fire, right?
Where did I have
it? Was an event. You had it. Maybe it was down in North Carolina.
No, I had it at the first time I used that was at Warrior Night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a father-son camp out, and that's going to be in September.
So I was like, Warrior Night come around, we're going to be set up. Mm-hmm. And so, but yeah, it's silver. It's supposed to make it like reflect heat, and
it reflected all right.
Yeah, but it cooks you like a baked potato in there. It is not for summer. They have ports where you can like hook up air conditioning to it and all that. So if you have air conditioning in your tent, which I plan to have soon. It's great because it's an insulated thick wall, so it'll keep the heat out, you know.
So the tent looks like a spaceship, or maybe like a
it
Cybertruck.
Definitely looks like a shift. Like it looks like, I mean, they're called shelters because they use them for, like, you could actually live in them, they say. But super scientific in there. They don't, like, you can put them away wet for like 30 days and they won't mold. The build quality is super. They can withstand like 120-mile-an-hour winds.
How many people can fit in it?
You could fit like probably a family of 5 for sure.
Okay. So it's a decent sized tent.
Decent sized tent.
Yeah.
But it was more than I needed and it was just too big. And so I ended up selling that one. And then I found out about this company called Overlandish, which is the same hub tent style. And
that's what you used the last time I just went camping, right?
That's what I used, this last time. And they're cool because they're the colors are cool. They're still insulated, so it keeps it quiet. You don't feel like you can have a little bit of privacy.
Yeah, we didn't have much rain this last time we went camping, but it was like low 30s at night. How did you feel?
Great.
So the insulation in there was...
Yeah, especially if you have a heater. Like, you can turn your heater off and it'll keep it insulated for a while.
Nice.
Like, it's not just going to all seep out through the fabric. But, yeah, super high quality. They are really good with water resistant, even without the rain fly. And then if you put your rain fly on, it's definitely pretty close to waterproof. As much as, nothing's really waterproof, but it'll keep you dry. It'll keep you safe. But again, I like the nice things. That's just my thing. I like having nice gear. Some people find value in that. Some people are like, I'm only using it twice, but I use it more than the average person, I'd say. So I can justify for me. But some people are like, I ain't spending that much on a tent because they're still not cheap. But
so those are the ones that like you kind of pop out. What do they call those? Like
they're called hubs. Hubs. Yeah, a hub style tent.
So I know what Gazelle is another one of those, right? So that's one that probably isn't up in that super high range.
Gazelle would be a Overlandish tent without insulation. So a Gazelle is like a two maybe 3 season tent.
Yeah,
but the water repellency isn't as high, or the wind, so it'll be super noisy if it's windy or rainy. It'll be super loud.
So I think
mine won't be loud or
that's the one that I'm gonna try for this one. So for me last year at Warrior Princess, I had my North Face dome tent. I forgot the actual name of it. It's the 4-person dome from North Face, and I mean it's North Face, so it was good.
Yeah, good quality.
Pouring rain, not too wet. The thing about camping is like you got to make sure you know where you're setting up. So I had a guy that was next to me, and he set up in a little depression, right? His floor was just flooded. So, not so much a tent review, but a little tent tip or camping tip. Make sure you know where you're setting your stuff up at.
Yeah.
But yeah, the North Face was great. I'm used to setting up mine, the little one man. So I have a Marmot, and it's another North Face. The one man North Face that I have is called a Tadpole. Look, when I was a young, gung-ho, strong guy in the Army, and I used to carry a lot of weight and all that stuff, one-man tent, I just get down on the ground, crawl in, and it has a little area that you could put your backpacking gear, put your shoes outside, and then you just crawl in. A vestibule. And it was great, especially for camping. It packed small. Now, me trying to get down on the one fake knee that I have and the bad back and all that, trying to get no, not so much. So
you guys use tents in the Army?
yeah.
So soft.
Yeah. See,
Sorry, I broke your train of thought.
yeah. But
Where were you
what I
going
was
with that?
what I was saying, TBI, is I can't get down like that anymore. So now that's why I need a bigger tent. Plus, coming with the kids. When they were super small, I would be in that one man tent and just tuck them in there with me. I liked having a larger sleeping bag, like the little 2-persons,
Right.
because then I could tuck them in there with me, and I can like make sure of their temperature.
Right.
So my body warmth with them, and then plus if they're in a little sleeping bag, you can't really tell if they're too cold or whatever. So I like doing that.
I love camping in the colder months
Oh, absolutely.
because I hate being hot.
Yeah, I'll take camping in the cold over
Because
heat.
you can only get, you can always put on another blanket if you're cold. If you're hot, there's only so much you can take off before it becomes inappropriate.
Yeah. So now that I'm thinking about this, the way we're handling this, probably the worst tent review podcast you could watch.
We got time.
But I'm gonna keep going. So the Walmart Coleman. So I didn't have it, but one of our buddies did, and it had like some blackout material in it.
Oh yeah.
I went into his like that. If you need like some darkness for camping, and the camp out that we did, maybe not so much the girls, but when we did the Warrior Night with the boys, it was like Lord of the Flies, just with all the yelling, the screaming, and headlamps just bouncing all over the place. Not not a what is it? The trigger warning. Like that camp out should have came with a trigger warning. But in his tent, completely blacked out, and he stayed dry as well. So shout out to the Coleman, whatever it's called.
Yeah. My walls are black. The shift pod, they're white. But the one I'm in now, the Overlandish, it's black inside. White was cool because you can take a little lamp and it just reflects, light, so you can see better. But it is what it is.
So do you have any idea, Focus, since this is going to be like your first ever real adult camping, do you have any ideas of what you're looking at as far as a tent?
I have not thought about it one time until right now. So no.
What's your budget?
So it's a
I
good
don't
thing
even know where to start.
It's a good thing you found us because we're giving reviews on tents.
Yeah. That's perfect.
My one man is a Big Agnes. You ever heard of Big Agnes?
Yeah. Those are really good.
Yeah.
So I got some of those issued before.
Yeah. It's a 2-man, but with tents, if it says it's a 2-man, it's really a 1-man. If it's a 3-man, it's really a 1.5-man. But you can kind of just cut it in. If it says it's a 4-man tent, it'll be comfortable for 2 people.
Yep.
If it says it's a 2-man tent, it'll be comfortable for 1 person. A 1-man tent it's tight. Your shoulders are going to be, if you're our size, is going to be up against the sidewalls.
Yeah.
And there's no room to do anything else but lay down. Agree?
100%. Yeah.
So if you're shopping for a tent and it says it's a 6-man tent, it'll be comfortable for maybe 3 people laying side by side with each other on the floor.
6-mans are great for when you bring the inflatable mattress.
Yeah. So just know that. Do you use inflatable mattresses? What do you use?
With family. They'll bring inflatable mattresses. Now I've so recently I started doing a cot.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a Tempur-Pedic pad that I'll lay out, and that's been my old man setup.
Yep.
Previously,
you do that real low cot, right?
Yeah.
That's
Helinox or something.
Helinox.
Yeah.
Those are good. Helinox ain't cheap.
Really good. Yeah. But the Colemans, Coleman tents that are, they're the size of the military issue.
The cot, you mean?
Yeah. Cot. That thing's been holding up pretty good. And,
you have one of those too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know when to use what? Like when do you use your low one and when do you use your
The low one when
Standard
I'm
one.
in my 1-man tent.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll use when I have, so I also have an REI Kingdom Dome 8-person tent.
Oh.
And that's the one, like, if the family's coming,
Yeah.
it's got the 2 different areas. So
Yeah.
the wife and I can set up, and she likes the inflatable.
Right.
So we'll set that up, and then the kids can have their little bunks somewhere else.
I've tried moving away from inflatables because they always, well, you need power to blow them up. Well, you don't need it, but if you're doing it by hand, it takes forever. And they always deflate, like, depending on the temperature. And you risk them, oh, this one has a leak. So you're camping for whatever. It's like, oh, this has a leak in it. And now you're sleeping on the cold, hard ground. So I try to do a cot with a foam mattress on top.
Let me give you
Try to get away from the so if a pro tip for me would be do a cot with a foam mattress on top if you want the most comfortable. Don't depend on air and a thin piece of rubber to keep, especially you're outside, there's pokey things all over the place.
Yeah.
It's gonna leak, I'm telling you.
So here's my pro tip for you, Focus. You take 2 cots and put your inflatable mattress on the 2 cots, and it's just like you raise it up. It's like a bed at home, and then you don't get all the pokies and stuff like that.
Then you just have a huge bar in the middle. You do that? You've done that? You don't feel like the bar sticking up and it kind of...
No, not in an inflatable.
Inflatable, it absorbs that.
So
good to know.
Back to that. You haven't done any like Googling or...
No, like literally outside of like walking down the camping aisle at Walmart the other day just to like scope it out.
Right.
That was pretty much it. Then I forgot all about it. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect podcast for you to be listening to.
I'm Googling stuff over here as you're talking about it. So
Do you plan on camping more than just this one time?
yeah, I'll be at Warrior Night as well.
Okay.
And then I'm sure there will be other times where we'll do it, for whatever reason. But yeah.
Right.
Yep. And if the kids like it, we'll go more. I have no idea if they're going to like it or not.
Right. So if you stick with Walmart, like a buddy of mine came to Warrior Night, and it was his first. He doesn't camp, and usually guys say I hate camping because a lot of it they hate it because of the equipment they bring and use. So if you're frustrating with tent poles and you don't know how to set it up, and you're not comfortable because you're sleeping on the ground or a deflated mattress, and you didn't bring the right clothes or the right gear, it's going to be miserable. But if you have the right stuff and if you take care of your gear will take care of you. So, but if you're only doing it once a year, it's like, I'm not going to spend a ton of money on, I can suck it up once a year, but that's probably why you only go once a year, because your gear sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
I'm with you on. I like to just buy things one time.
That's how
I
I
don't. Yeah, I just want to buy it right the first time, and never have to be frustrated.
I feel like if you got something nice, you're going to want to use it more just to justify the purchase.
Yeah. I think like the Gazelle that we were talking about is...
It's a good tent.
That's probably like, I'm going to get one of those and I'm going to try it out at this next one. I know recently a couple of our buddies have just got into those actually this past weekend. One of them had the setup and he took like an RV carpet.
Yeah.
Put the RV carpet down, put his cot, little mattress, his chair, and he was set up. Had a great weekend in it. And that goes back to, having the equipment. Had he been in that tent just on the grass with a sleeping bag, probably not so much.
Because I like, if you're going out camping, you want to spend most of your time camping and hanging out and just chilling. You don't want to spend most of it setting up. I like to be there and have my site set up within like 5 or 10 minutes.
So that kind of leads us into what are some of the things that you bring with you, like your must-haves when you're out camping, if you're doing tent camping?
Yeah, tent camping, I got to have my hub tent, whether it be, I don't know, maybe I'll end up selling the Overlandish and going with the hub tent, but I like it. It keeps me warm. But
All right,
I gotta have that. And then
I'm gonna drop something
what?
because one of the last times I saw your tent set up, you had a beautiful ambiance.
Yeah.
But an electric, like fireplace heater
Yeah.
looked like a lodge, like a hunting lodge inside his tent.
Yeah. I like to be comfortable. I want it to look like a log cabin inside.
It did.
Yeah.
It really did.
It's cool. It's cozy.
Yeah.
But
Sorry,
I'm all
go
about
ahead.
the ambiance. So yeah. And then I gotta have a comfortable mattress. I use a Hess mattress, which is it's like a paddleboard material, like an inflatable paddleboard,
Okay.
or like an inflatable like a whitewater rafting boat raft. It's like that raft, thick raft material.
Hard, like
Yeah.
PVC type stuff.
Right. So it's that, and then it has like a 3-inch foam
Memory foam thing.
mattress on top of it, so you can adjust the firmness of your bed.
Yeah.
Depending on the air, and then I put that on top of my cot, so it's just a firm base.
So the travel
Then I'll sleep.
inflatable-
That's more uncomfortable. That's more comfortable than my bed at home.
Yeah. The like packable roll that I would use if I'm not using that Tempur-Pedic.
Yeah.
I think it was a Nemo, maybe. But it's the same kind of setup. It's like your blow up mattress that it
Right.
actually comes with like a little pillow thing in the front you step on
yeah.
and it inflates itself.
Yeah, this has
But then it has the memory
pump.
foam.
And that's the only thing of my gear that takes me more than like a minute to set up.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't bring it just because I don't feel like setting it up or tearing it down. Because that's usually what I base my gear on, is how fast can I set it up and how fast can I take it down. So like my table, it just sets up with it like one
What's
motion.
the brand on the table?
It's a Mountain Summit gear
Okay.
table. And I have a roll top table too, so it compresses down pretty small. And it's
like-
light.
I was big on the lightweight stuff. So that brand Helinox, if I'm saying it right. So I had the cot by them. I had the chair, like a little swivel chair by them, and a table. The whole setup was all that, because it packed in tight. I mean, small little package and everything like that. But again, that's when I was a lot more limber and flexible and could do all that stuff. Now, camp chair, no, it's one of those like rockers with the shocks on the back.
Yep.
And
That's what I
it's a comfortable setup. I'm not
And it
trying
sets
to
up in one motion.
Yeah.
If you can get something that's a one motion setup, that's how I rate it.
Yeah,
Like, how long is this going to be to take and then put it away?
just
It's got to be easy.
earned all my stripes and my hard points back in the day. I don't need points anymore. I am going for comfort.
Yep.
And so that's the thing, like when we're talking about this stuff, is you gotta kind of weigh the pros and cons. If you're going out to the campsite and you're rolling up in a Honda Civic, you're not going to have room for all this stuff. Maybe that minimalist camp stuff is good.
Yeah.
But if you're hauling this stuff out in the truck, you can have these bigger chairs and the table setups and bring in cots. So definitely you get out what you bring in with the tents and setups.
Yeah.
I have a dumb camping question.
Bring it.
Where does one set up their tent? Is there a designated area for tents and then you park somewhere else, or do you just set your tent near your truck, or
At Warrior Princess you talking about?
in general?
just
But
in
specifically for this question, Warrior Princess. But I mean, generally, I guess too.
Well, generally most camps, well, it depends. You can do, a lot of campgrounds have primitive camping where your tent site will be away from
You're like
depends.
packing it in.
Yeah, you're hauling it in, and then they say, your car can't get down there, because if you want a site that has like a certain like type of scenery, like I want to be by the river or see the mountain or whatever, you usually have to walk far to get there. They don't want you don't want the sound of cars pulling up and all that. You want to be out in nature. So you generally can't park like right next, but some places you can't.
Like state parks, if you're rolling up, like Pocahontas, for instance, they have campsites that you just like, you can pull straight into, and then you've got a tent pad that's just set up for a tent, and then your picnic table and all that. So you just park and unload your stuff and start setting it up. But for Warrior Princess and Warrior Night, in specifically for those, we have an area where you can pull in, you can drop your stuff, and then go to the parking area, so your equipment's closer to where you're setting up, and then you just move it down to the designated camp areas and start setting everything up, because we got a big nice field out there, which that's another thing that just looks so cool for that Warrior Night and Warrior Princess is man, just a whole wide open field filled with like 100 tents.
Yep.
It's such a cool look.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I gotta have my mattress. I don't have to have a table, but I like a table. So I guess my must-haves would just be the easy tent, a hub-style tent, and my comfortable mattress.
Yeah.
And then if you have those, if you have a dry, comfortable place to sleep, camping is easy.
So one thing for like focus, because he's a cameraman, he's a podcast guy, he's got all the things that he needs to charge, right?
Yep.
A lot of, like, if you're going to a state park, yeah, they're going to have power poles at your sites and stuff like that. But if you're doing some of this primitive camping, or camping like we're going to be doing, there's not many opportunities to charge your stuff.
Right.
So one of the ones that I found that I really like, and I know there's a whole bunch of different solar chargers out there now, but I personally use Goal Zero.
Yeah.
So I have some Goal Zero panels that I can just connect to my backpack, and it's just going to charge my cell phone or maybe a camera. But then they actually have solar generators that are pretty heavy, so you're not like going to be carrying this thing with you. But if you're just putting it down outside the truck, it's, you know, a 500 watt generator that you throw out a panel, and it's constantly charging while you're out playing, and you can charge a phone and stuff like that. So, you know, in the generation we're in now, like with everybody needing the phones and stuff, that's a pretty high priority, is having a way to charge your stuff.
Yeah. We're talking about like car camping. Like backpacking camping equipment is totally different set of gear, totally different set of must-haves. But car camping and overlanding are similar, but I guess the difference between overlanding and car camping would be overlanding is kind of, the goal is to be able to go anywhere and have everything you need in the vehicle that you're taking. So you can go where other cars can't go, and you can be totally self-sufficient without any outside sources. So you're packing your water with you. You have all your own electricity with generators like you're talking about. You can drive over. You can get to places that a normal car can't get to, because
most of the time with that too,
crazy.
You're changing sites. So you're driving around. You're not just static at that same site for your whole weekend.
Right. You're
driving to the next one, setting up there.
Yeah.
With the overland stuff.
Overlanding is expensive gear. That's what overlanding is.
You know what? Like, because overlanding, I just heard this term in the last couple years.
Yeah.
But I was a professional overlander for 22 years.
Yeah.
Before it became a term and was cool.
Right.
Like we would pack our vehicles, whether it be a Humvee or whatever it is, and you're just throwing all your gear in there, and you're living out of the vehicle.
Right.
And then I get home back to the States, retire, and they're like, oh, this is overlanding. This is a thing now. There's YouTube channels about it.
Yeah, I would have been.
Cool.
I would have been a professional backpacker, I'd say, because we would carry we marched everywhere we went, so we would.
Yeah, we were
hike it in,
just a tad bit smarter than that.
Hike it in and hike it out. Well, yeah, probably. We just go. We go to places that you guys wouldn't even consider, because it's just too dangerous.
So just in case you haven't noticed, each of these podcasts will have just a tad bit of Army versus Marine play back and forth.
Yeah. They all know which one's better.
Question on tools. Like, what tools do I need to have to go camping?
Tools?
Yeah.
Tools.
Like, what do you mean by tools?
Like, do I need a hatchet?
No, not
No.
for this.
Not for this, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
there will be like water bottles and stuff and like
Yeah.
fire making materials and,
Yeah.
and all that.
But a hatchet would be good. Even better than a hatchet would be like a foldable saw,
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
Because a hatchet can only do so much.
If you have the
saw is
ability to
just
bring an
easier.
axe,
Yeah.
like an axe
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah.
But you're going to do just as much with
Yeah.
one of these little, what are those? The little saws that
It's a
fold
little
out of the handle.
handle folding saw. That'll probably come in more useful than a axe or a hatchet would.
Fortunately for you and for
Yeah.
anyone else coming to camp with us at our event, the firewood is already pre-stocked and stuff like that, so you're not having to do much of that. But it is fun to just. I know my son. I have a folding saw for him, and then I just got him a small little hatchet.
Oh, cool.
And he just goes out into the woods and chops away, like not really trying to saw anything down. He's literally just trying to chop trees, which helps. He's making me some firewood. But oh yeah, there you go. Looking for the hatchet.
Yeah. This is
There you go.
this is an actual army issue hatchet.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
something like this should work.
Tools,
for you.
tools. Though seriously, you always want to have a knife with you.
Yep.
First aid kit, like that's I would definitely think a first aid kit is a tool, because and people think, oh, am I going to need tourniquets and quick clot and stuff? Yes, that would be great. You never know what's going to happen, but you can almost guarantee you are going to need Band-Aids and you're going to need some like antiseptic wipes or something like that to clean the little nicks and cuts, because if it's your first time,
freaking
when you
Band-Aid.
go out there to set up your tent, you're going to pinch your knuckle on something.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Just spit on all my cuts, dude.
Take a Motrin.
Yeah.
You'll be
Yes.
fine. No, that's good. Yeah, you should have a basic med kit. But yeah, what are you thinking that you want to get?
What kind of
So
tools
far.
do you think that you need to bring?
I mean, I really, like again, this one's a little different, right? Because like everything's pretty much going to be provided. But like if I just decide I want to go camping this weekend at some place that doesn't provide all those things, like I don't even know where I would start. I definitely have just like a knife, so something to cut wood up with. I guess like water bottles or some way to purify water if you're in somewhere with a water source.
Right.
Tent stuff obviously.
Do you drink coffee?
No, not really.
Okay, so you don't got to worry about that.
Yeah, I don't need that.
Do you cook?
Yeah, I guess that's something you'd have to think about.
So you need some type of cooler. And that's again,
Yeah.
like, do you need a Yeti cooler? No, but
Right.
if you want to keep your food cold for as long as possible, get a nice cooler.
Yeah.
Or if you're going nice, or if we're talking about overlanding, like I had a
You have
ARB,
electrical.
that I could plug into the truck. So I just had a fridge with me at all times, so I could bring whatever I wanted. But yeah, that's the other thing you got to think about is if you're bringing just a regular cooler, one, the ice, and then refilling the ice, and then also the ice melting. So if you got some sandwiches in the bottom, they're just turning into mush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So then cooking, once again, I always think about ease. What's easiest? Look, I have a Weber Q grill. I have a few different cooking systems, but that's probably the easiest one to use, but it's also the bulkiest
you know what I would recommend for you?
Yeah.
One, because it's minimal, so you could throw it in a backpack, but it'll give you a fun camping experience, is like a jet boil.
Yeah.
So a jet boil will pair perfectly with all these different Mountain House and all the dehydrated or freeze dried backpacking meals. You just throw some water. The jet boil will crank that thing, boil it up real quick. You pour the water into these pre-packed meals, and 10, 15 minutes later, it reconstitutes. And you've got, I've had a lot of MREs. I'm not looking forward to an MRE, but there's some mountain houses, like the breakfast skillet.
Pretty dang good.
They're amazing. So I highly recommend, like, especially for your first camping experience, get a jet boil-esque or some type of the little propane. It could be little camping stove. They got them on Amazon for less than $10 just to heat up some water, and then use some of those backpacking meals, because it's a great experience, and then the food's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I didn't think about food. Probably should have.
And again, like with our experience, like it is an experience. So you're coming out there for the 3 days, and there is food provided. One of the great things about Warrior Princess was the Saturday night daddy-daughter date.
Yeah,
so like they do provide the dinner for you there. And last year it was like a spaghetti dinner, had this pavilion, and they had tablecloths. So we were camping, but there were some moments when it was like, wow, this is super nice.
Yeah.
And again, kind of like that last experience we talked about with what it cost for that weekend, you're getting so much out of it. Like there's the different meals that are provided. BB. They had a BB range set up, so there was a lot of girls out there for the first time that ever handled a firearm, and they had some range safety officers out there that were, showing them how to do everything, got them on the line. They got to shoot some BBs at some pretty big IPSC targets. Archery had some professional archery from actually Department of Wildlife. The state of Virginia's archery guy came out and was teaching these girls how to shoot a bow, some of them for the first time.
Yeah.
And what else? There was fishing. There was a stock pond. So there was a lot of girls and dads that caught their first fish.
Yep. Molly caught her first fish.
Nice.
Yep. It was pretty neat. Did BB gun shooting.
The field games.
Oh yeah, field games were fun. I mean, it's just cool. And even though it rained, it was like that's one of her fondest memories. Is just how we had to getting woke up in the middle of the night, having water dripping on our faces and trying to dodge it and all that.
And that's the thing, is like those kind of memories.
Yeah,
are going to be ones that they carry with them. They're never going to forget that first time, or that however many time it was, the time I went camping with Dad, and it was just me and Dad, and it poured rain.
Yeah.
But that's another thing, is like they plan some great memorable experiences. Do you remember the apple?
Oh yeah, that was great. It was a good time.
So cool thing about camping, right? Making these memories, doing these things. But Men's Alliance, when they put on this Warrior Princess, they had an event where each father and daughter got an apple, and you went off into the woods or went on a walk, and then you sat down with your daughter, and you would take a bite of the apple and then tell her something that you love about her. And then she would take a bite and then pass it back to you.
Yep.
That right there, I absolute memory moment, like core memory.
Yeah, it was nice. It was a special time for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, back to tools. Look at that segue.
I know, that was great.
Speaking of segues,
You're getting good at this.
do you
Oh yeah.
do you recommend what's that brand of electric scooter you have?
That called a cycle board. It's like off-road four-wheeled scooter.
Is that a
Gets
like
you from A to B.
1010 must recommend?
It's not. That's definitely a luxury item. Yeah.
So
Because you got must-haves and then you got luxury items. It's like, but a lot, the lines definitely blur for me, because most of my must-haves are luxury items. Like, I won't go.
I'm thinking about a one wheel.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh,
might,
yeah?
that might be.
Do you have that kind of balance?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't. That freaked me out. I can't go no hands.
First time I ever did a one wheel was
You've done those before?
Oh yeah, on a drop zone. One of the medics came out there and he had a one wheel and he's just like scooting across the drop zone. I was like, hey, can I try that? So, and then when I saw you with the scooter, I was like, man, maybe I need to go back to that one wheel, get one of those.
You should. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, you can take those anywhere, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're pretty robust.
Do you only get balance on those once you start moving, or are they kind of self-balancing? Do they have like some type of counterweights in them?
Like that gyro ball on Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
No, I have no clue. I am not scientific, or
because something, it's much easier to stay balanced when you're moving.
centrifugal force.
Yeah.
No clue. I just know it's pretty fun.
All right.
When you can lean forward and it goes, and then lean back and it kind of breaks. That's about the only.
Oh, so doesn't have like a.
No, it's not one of the button ones like the skateboards.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
cool. So it's like a segue.
So as you can tell, there's a bunch of different, like you were just saying. There's like, hey, I'm gonna minimalist, go backpack style camping. There's your everyday camping where you're just throwing some tents and maybe you got your inflatable mattress, maybe you got some cots, and then you can really get into it with the whole bed setup, your insulated hex wall tent with a electric fireplace in there.
Because is your Coleman cot? Is it the kind that has the bar on either end?
Yes.
You really got a muscle?
Yep.
See, that's no bueno for me. I had to find one that is sturdy that I can just bloop, pop up. Because I could just see those things frustrating me.
I am looking into those. The ones that kind of just set up like a chair.
Yeah.
That fold out.
It's similar. This one, it just kind of... It folds in like this, and then the legs flip underneath it, and then it folds.
Yeah, because the Coleman one, it does like give me some flashbacks because it's the same exact setup that the Army cots that I've used for so long.
Yeah,
where you have to get another pole from somebody else to pry your pole into spot. Yeah,
I just know I'd pinch my thumb, or it would frustrate me. It's going to take me too long. Not doing it. So
what are you thinking? You getting anything good out of this?
Yeah, definitely got the mind working. I don't know. It's like I don't have any compass on like what I don't like, So like they're all good options, but I can sleep anywhere though too. Like I'll sleep in my chair, So I just got to try it and see,
Yeah.
If I'm tired enough, I used to be able to sleep anywhere because I was always dog tired. That helps. If you're super tired, you can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Gazelle, if you don't want to go broke and you want something that you'll use and it'll be easy, I'd have to recommend the Gazelle tent.
Yeah, I'm excited to try that one.
Because it's pretty spacious.
We covered
pretty spacious.
We covered tents, the sleeping. That's
what
obviously
sleeping
an
bag
important part.
Do you use?
Yeah. So I had it before you asked me, and I completely forgot. I think is Nemo a brand? I'm gonna have to look it up. Yeah. It's a Nemo.
Okay.
Yep. And then I have like the old school. I don't know, like Montana or Wyoming. It's got like the plaid on the inside and it's brown on the outside. But
I have one of those. The canvas one.
Yeah.
Mine's from Cabela's.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the fleece.
And that's the one that I have. That's like the
Super
2-person
heavy.
one.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's extra wide. You can fit a kid in there.
Yep. That one is super comfortable, but super bulky. So it's definitely for car camping. But it will keep you warm for sure.
Yeah.
And then I have down sleeping bags, those are good too, but if they get wet, and I don't love sleeping bag material, like that silky stuff. It gets me sweaty and it's not that great, but.
So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
So I went to REI and they have it's called like a cocoon.
Yeah.
But it's it's a thin sheet material.
Oh.
That's the same shape as a
Right.
a sleeping bag. So you slide that on and then get in, so it's like you're not sticking to it.
There's a name for those. What is?
Yeah,
It's
cocoon.
called like a. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Is that what I said?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
It's like a. Yeah.
There's a name for
It's
that
a
thing
liner.
you just
It's a
said.
sleeping
Yeah.
bag liner.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
mummy bag.
Yeah,
or
it's like
something.
it's a mummy liner or whatever. But I can't. Can you do the mummy bags?
No, those are the ones like
shape.
the
Yeah.
tight foot box. No, I have to have the square.
They make
off.
these. The idea behind those is to keep weight down, and because they're mostly for backpacking, they're to keep weight down and to help with warmth. Because if your body's together, it'll just but you got to lay like this on your back. Not for me. I would freak out in that thing.
So when you're looking at sleeping bags, you got to pay attention to not the R value, but the installation value or
What's it
whatever it is.
rated at?
But it's rated to certain degrees.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go summer camping with your like -30 bag.
And that's another thing similar to tents. Like you kind of have to add, like if it says it's a 30-degree sleeping bag, that doesn't mean it'll keep you warm down to 30 degrees. It means it'll keep you alive.
That's good to know.
If you're sleeping and it's like, 30 degrees, it'll be 30 degrees. I'll get a 30-degree sleeping bag. You're going to be cold, but you won't die. So add it's going to only get down to 50 degrees. All right, my 30 degrees will keep me warm,
Okay.
So add about 20 degrees or take away whatever to your sleeping bag.
We had the tents. We got what you're sleeping in, what you're sleeping on, what to eat. We talked about some of those things.
Yeah.
That goes in like the food and water and stuff like that. Most campgrounds, you're not having to worry about that water purification stuff. But this is just something I always had. You can get those little life straws.
Yeah, I have one.
Or
Those are cool.
what's the other one? It's not Berkey. But anyways, this is a great review thing when I don't know the names of the Sawyer.
all right.
Sawyer water filter. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But those things are cool.
Berkey was close.
But yeah, Berkey's the big one I have in the house. But yeah, taking those things with the kids and like having them drink out of a stream or something like that, or you can, go get it out of the filtered water and then just pretend be like, hey,
Right. Just put some grass and dirt in
just
it.
letting them try these water filters is good.
Yep.
Good camp fun.
What stove do you use to cook? If we're not at where, if I was like, hey, let's go to Pocahontas and camp, what stove would you bring?
Gosh, what is that thing called? Oh, I think no. So Jetboil made a larger stove.
You use that one?
So I got one of those.
Oh dang. Can't hide money.
It's not as good as like the little $80 Coleman griddle one.
Right.
I love that thing. You can get those at Walmart, REI, whatever, any of your camp places, but not the one that has the grill. What is that called? Like slats?
The grate?
The grate, whatever that is. Not that one. The one that comes, it's like half that and half griddle. That thing's awesome. Because you can still boil water.
Coleman, you said?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So one side has like the burner with the rack on
burner.
it,
That's the thing I was thinking of. Yes.
right? And then one side is a griddle.
Yep. That one's money because like you can
Right.
pre-make some pancake mix and make some of those.
Yeah.
Like some,
you could be heating your pot of coffee while you're cook, or have a pan.
throwing bacon on that griddle.
Doing pancakes and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dual purpose is always
That's where the cooler is most important, so you can keep your bacon
looking
cold.
it up. You looking it up or texting?
I'm just checking my phone.
I'm just checking my
I'm
phone.
getting blown up over here.
Getting blown up.
Now, this is a segment where we call someone.
Yeah.
And caller, you're on the line.
Yeah, I like to use. Yeah, usually I have a Blackstone that I'll use.
Ooh, that's super fancy.
So
Was
I
it
use
the
that
22-inch one?
It's the 17.
I didn't even know they made a 17.
So it's just a. Yeah.
Wow. Forget what I said
smaller.
about the mountain house stuff. Just bring in a Blackstone
Yeah,
and
you
some
can
steaks.
pretty much cook anything on a Blackstone. But if I'm not, yeah, like if I'm making eggs or whatever, but I don't really eat breakfast. But breakfast is good when you're camping.
Let's
There's
hit this
nothing
real
like a
quick,
camp
because
breakfast.
that's one of the most important things about camping. Not important things, but one of the best things is camp food.
Yeah.
So like, Focus, what do you think you would want to eat out there before we tell you what we like to eat?
I mean, definitely like hot dogs, right?
Okay.
That's like,
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
a
like
common
a
camp food.
staple. Yeah. Yeah, but again, that's under the category of like something I've never really considered in
Yeah,
my life. So you tell me.
Well, yeah, we'll tell you and let your imagination run wild.
Yeah.
You want to start?
Like again, with everything when it's camping, I like it to be easy. So I make, like, usually for breakfast, it'll be like smashed cinnamon rolls. So you just take the cinnamon rolls out the thing and you put them on the, put butter down. You set them on your griddle and then you smash them down with your spatula. And then you flip them so they look like about the size of a pancake. And then you just take the frosting and spread it on all of them. Dude, super money. Really good. That's usually for breakfast. For like a meal, again, like burgers are okay, but you got to bring buns. You got to bring tomato. You got to bring lettuce. You got to bring cheese. All that other stuff. I don't like all that. I'll do like taco meat. They're called walking tacos. Get some taco meat.
Some ground beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some ground beef, has some seasoning on it, and then you buy those little bags of like Doritos and stuff, like the box of like the assortment. Open those things, you just put the meat in there, you mix it up. You can bring lettuce and tomato if you want, I guess, but not required.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you don't have to worry about dishes. It's in your hand. Kids you don't eat that stuff at home. So
I like
stuff like that.
Like family camping.
Yeah.
I like doing some prep at the house. Like I said,
Right, that's
you get
true.
like an old syrup bottle, and then you'll pre-mix your pancake stuff.
Yep.
So you can just squeeze it out when you're there.
Yeah.
Or making like the things you don't normally make at home, but you
Right.
can get the little croissant biscuit things.
Yeah.
And then some of those the little cocktail hot dog things, making pig in the blanket
yeah.
kind of things. Those are fun. One of the things I like to do is the little aluminum pans that you can get at like Walmart
Yeah.
or whatever. I bring those, and then I'll bring some baked beans, like some corn, and then I'll cut up some onions and bell peppers.
Yeah.
Throw that in there, and then just set it next to the fire and let it.
Wow.
Like, cooking over the fire
Yeah.
is a must do while you're camping.
Yeah.
So you could take a can of soup, just crack it open a little bit so it doesn't
Yep.
explode, and then like set that thing next to the fire and let it warm up. But anything that you can camp in, around, or over the
Yeah.
fire.
I got a tripod and I got a big old cast iron
Yeah.
skillet, or not skillet, but a Dutch oven. So I like making like stews and chilies and stuff like that when I'm camping.
Oh, yeah, that sounds
You
good.
just let them sit, for a while, and you get to sit around the fire and just cook them low and slow over the fire. It's a good time.
Something that our buddy Josh has taught me was he pre-makes bacon, and then we eat it cold, like on a Saturday morning. We're eating that cold bacon and some hard-boiled eggs. Oh, I'm telling you, like,
I can't get
especially
down on
after
hard-boiled eggs.
after a workout, like you wake up Saturday morning, do a little workout, and then those that cold bacon and some hard-boiled eggs hits the
Cold
spot.
bacon's good no matter what.
Yeah.
Bacon's good no matter if it's hot or cold, as long as it's crispy. I gotta have crispy bacon.
Yeah, me too.
But
So that's, man, we like I
we
was saying,
covered a lot.
sleeping in, sleeping on, what to eat, and then we covered some of the extras.
Yeah.
But man, the thing is, like, camping's fun.
Yep.
Like, bring whatever you need to bring to make it fun,
Yep.
and don't
that's
don't
different
try
for
to
everybody.
go crazy of like, oh, I'm gonna one-man tent, sleep on the ground, which is great. I've put a tarp on the ground and just had a tarp in a sleeping bag,
Yeah.
sleeping under the stars. Awesome.
Yeah.
But you gotta plan your trips. Like, is it going to be that kind of trip just for you?
Yep.
But if you're going with the family, you might want to have some family things, and it's make some memories, man.
And when you go, and you're going to realize something you need or something that you wish you would have had, that's when you make a note of it, and that's when you buy it. So you have it for the next one. Because if you put it off, if you have the money, obviously, if you put it off, you'll be like, oh, maybe I didn't need it that much, and then you're gonna get out there again, and you're like, dang, I really need that, and then you'll just stop going camping. So that's what I found. If I need something and I have the money for it, right when I think like I really wish I had this, and then
Just Amazon that bad boy, and it's waiting for you when you get it.
Yeah, and then it'll make you want to go again.
Yeah.
But I've kind of learned that it takes me about 3 times to get it right with gear. Pretty much with anything. Like I'll buy something and then nope, that wasn't it. I'll see and I'll pick out what I look for, the features that I think would make it better. But usually on the 3rd try, I get it right. That's pretty much when it comes to anything for me.
Man, I'm excited to see you out there in your first especially first family camping experience.
Yeah.
And then can't wait to get back on here and get your feedback, and maybe do an actual review of knowing what the items are that we're talking about. But yeah, that'll be exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
All right. Is that about it?
It's hour 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Boom.
Holy crap. There's so many. This could be what all this podcast is about. There's so many different things and so many different gears and all kinds of stuff. And it's different. That's why I like camping with other people, because you get to see that's one of the best things about camping is walking around and seeing everybody else's setup. And you're like, hey, what do you got? What is that? How does this work?
And maybe next time we'll actually know what that is, so we can tell you specifics.
What?
This is no, like when we're looking at the tents.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh, it's a North Face.
Oh, exactly, right.
Star Spangled Set 3 DJI caliber.
All right. Well, we will see you next time. I don't know what we're going to talk about next time. This is as far as we got with the planning of this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll do an intro podcast, a pilot podcast, and then we can talk about Warrior Princess on the next episode, and that's where it ends. So
it's going to be great.
We appreciate the journey that you guys have traveled with us on this podcast.
You know what? I know the perfect thing for this is we tell them, comment, do the liking and subscribing and all the things that you're supposed to say when you have a YouTube channel. So do that, but then get on the comments and tell us, hey, what do you want us to review? What kind of content are you guys wanting to see? Like we said before, this is we the Tribesmen.
You don't know the name yet? It's not We Are the Tribesmen. It's We the Tribesmen.
We are Marshall. No, we the Tribesmen, right? But we're for Tribesmen, by Tribesmen. That's a little too close to the FUBU, isn't it? We want you guys to be a part of this with us. So comment what you want us to review. Or hey, if you really want to review something, send it to us and we'll take it out to this campsite. We'll review it. We'll get some good footage, because we've got one of the best podcast photographers, videographers on the set with us.
We thought about trying to open a tent in here.
That would not work.
This is about as big as a tent.
2 bears in a tent.
Yeah.
We would have to change the podcast name. But yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what you're looking for, and we'll try to see you on the next one.
Any last words, Master Control?
No, man. Just
all right. You
enjoy.
Said no.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't say no, man, and then keep talking.
I take back now. We'll see you on the next one.
I know. I love it when people are like, hey, you got anything to add? No, but just real quick. This happens every time. It even happened this weekend. Hey, you got anything to add, so-and-so? No, but just real quick, I want to tell y'all. It's like, I guess you do have something to add.
All right, guys.
All right. That's all.
Next time.
See you guys.
Over and out. See ya.
Was that the real one or the false one?
It's a false one.
Huh?
That was a false one.
Oh, you're still going?
Yeah.
Good. See, because I looked at
see,
you. I was like,
learning.
did he remember? He almost
I
did.
tried to trick you out. I
we still
acted
on?
like I pressed it.
Are you there?